Okay, good morning, Jeanette. Here we are. Firstly, I thank you so much for your patience. You've been so patient, just like so many other people, but I always appreciate it on an individual level. So thank you. Okay, here we go. Well, first it's watch. That's important. I see your loom window. Is it gone? No, it's there. Okay, the pip is there, so that's going to want relooming. It's one of these beautiful tan loom dial models. What year? 73. I'm sorry, 77. March of 77. Yes. With the white hand loom and the tan dial loom. Ay, sigh. So nice. Okay, well, I don't know what I'm going to find. I'm assuming it's going to be the basics, the usual stuff, but you know, whatever it needs will do. Okay, let's get going. Okay, looking inside the back here, it's always interesting. I don't know what this servicing mark. I'm assuming what that is. That's what that is. 80495161 9. I don't know what that means. Here's your case back seal. It is still pliant, but it is totally flattened. Always a good sign. Movement looks pretty bright and clean. Oh, look at that screw. Okay, look at the screw. That's the top of the mainspring arbor port. Look at that. Holy cow. Wow. That is when you know you have a worn mainspring arbor port and worn upper mainspring arbor bushing. Holy cow. Wow. Well, I guess we know one thing that's going to happen. Movement's a little hazy, but it doesn't look bad. You can see the haze on the top of these, especially like this screw and that screw. Interestingly, I mean, it definitely has been serviced before. See all this scratching right here? I have no idea. That's underneath the winding bridge. I have no idea what that's about. There's no functional purpose. I don't understand what that happened. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but it's just, what was up with that? Okay, so let's pull your ratchet here and let's see what treasures await us. And there's the ring S2 grease, and look at that. That's always fun, isn't it? Look at the huge grinding wear from the ratchet wheel tipping over, and you can see that the whole mainspring arbor has dropped down because the port below it is worn down, so the whole thing has come down. You can see that the edge here is starting to be worn. That's crazy. Yeah. That's some good stuff right there. Okay. Here's the hands and the dial. You can get a better sense of that contrast with the white hands and the pale loom. The hands are a little grayed out, so that contrast isn't quite as marked as it normally would be, but they're still lovely. You've got one little bit of like moisture patina right here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything with that, but I'll do what I can. Okay, starting to work on the case just a little bit. It's always fun to see these. I mean, that's clearly that you get the rotating ring gasket, and they're so old they just shatter. Okay, here's the next thing. We can see the loom window there. There's no loom in it at all, but the window is still there. So what I'm going to do then is I'll reloom that with Vintaloom to match the hands, because that's usually how it worked. The dial loom, when I don't know, I don't quite know what the production, how that worked, but it's like the dials were done with one kind of loom and the hands and the pip were done with another. It's very rare to see a pip when you have this two-tone loom thing. I can't remember seeing a loom pip that didn't match the hands. So that's what I'm going to do. Also, as befits an early case, again, March 1977, it's got your click ball is over here instead of over here. And interestingly, so your watch is March 77. Your dial is January of 77. Super cool. Looking on the other side now, nothing major to know about. Just we can look at this is the other end of the lower mainspring arbor port right there. You can see the side of it, and you can see how ovaled out it is. See how blown out that is? And that's what we need to replace. So we are going to do that and strip all this down and machine that out. Make it look better. Oh, would you stop it? Okay, out of the cleaner, and I'm just doing some checking. Always fun to see. So I just dropped the plate on there, train bridge real quick, and I put the mainspring arbor in here without the barrel, just the mainspring arbor, because we want to see how it's sitting. We want to see how it does. You remember how far down this was. Like this square section was low, right? It was almost even with the top of this. See how nice and high that is now? Lots of clearance. We can also see it's not moving around. I mean, it's got a tiny bit of shift, but it's supposed to. And that's what we want. That is what we want. So that's one of the checks that we do. And a lot of putting these things together is like this, is the checks. You check one wheel, you check the center wheel and pinion, you check the fourth wheel and pinion, you check the center wheel for up and down and shake and left and right. Each individual wheel you put in and check by itself so you can see how it runs. You can see if it binds up or if it's got excessive shake in it or if it's moving around, and you check every single wheel before you final assemble. See everything is right, because if you just go hell for leather and you put it all together and you run into a problem, you're going to have to go through and do those checks anyway to figure out where the issue is. So might as well do it first this way. Look at all that wear, because that mainspring arbor port was so worn. Take that beautiful clean train bridge off of there, and there is your mainspring arbor. And there's the jewel, the new jewel put in. I also had to shift this center wheel jewel. These almost always, for some reason, they're supposed to be flush with this level, but they're almost always pushed down a little bit, so you've got to bring them up a little bit. Sometimes, if you go over it very carefully between these two things and you're feeling the level, you shouldn't feel a step up or a step down. It should be flat. But check it first. You always have to check it to make sure that it's right. You check everything, the play of every single wheel when you're working on these. So the reason we go wheel by wheel and check stuff out is that I had too much end shake in this fourth wheel, so I had to go and move down. Now there's a couple ways you can do that. You can replace the center wheel because it's wear around the pinion itself, but I wasn't getting a lot of side-by-side stuff here. It was an up and down thing. So what I did, in fact, is I dropped this bushing of hair, and then that gave us what we needed. And that's where we needed to be. So, and I used my handy-dandy Zeitz jeweling tool. Okay, let's keep going. So what we want to see then is just smooth release of power. I don't have the canyon pinion on or anything else like that. It's literally just the train. It should be nice and quiet. Because if you hear like a lot of whining, then something's going on. Okay, so that winds all the way down, and that's what we need. So now I'm gonna flip it over and look at some of the other stuff on this side, and then I'm gonna flip it back over and put on the train and see how things are going. Not put on the train, I'd put on the pallet fork and look at some other stuff. Here's something you don't see too often. I just thought this was kind of neat. See this line of that line of wear right there, that stripe around there? That is from the date wheel. It is not often that I see that much wear from the date wheel. Think, this thing clicks over only once every 24 hours. How much time does it have to have on it in order to click over enough to rub through the plating? That's pretty interesting. I just don't see that often. Pretty wild. Okay, moving forward. Well, it's pretty much the end of my workday here, so I want to, let's drop the balance and see if I know what I'm doing. Again, I'm gonna have to get right on top of this, so I'm gonna move it out of the way real quick, and let's drop it in right. Lower mainspring over pivot. Come on, you. There she blows. Barely. Come on now. Let me screw this down. It looks like I've got a worn, I didn't see this before, but it looks like I've got a worn pivot on the balance. I'm getting a little bit of up and down action there. So let me look at that and see what we're doing. Yeah, it's definitely moving around a little. Not a lot, but it shouldn't be moving at all. Okay, let me look at that real closely. Yeah, there's something going on. Okay. Yeah, we've definitely have got a bad staff. The pivot is really worn down to the point that when the watch is dialed down, the balance, it's almost, there's no clearance. Instead of rotating on the pivot, it's rotating, it's not rotating on the tip of the pivot, it's rotating on sort of the shoulder of it, which is just no good. So I've got to pull this thing apart and place that staff. Thankfully I do have them because they're the same staff as the 6106s, and that's always fun. So let's do it. Yeah, a whole chunk of the lower pivot is just gone. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show this to you. I will try. Sorry if I'm giving anybody seasickness. I don't know. You can't really, it's short, and it ought not to be. Let me try this. Let's try it this way. How about that? Come on, would you focus? You can't really see it, and I'm not getting it here. Yeah, there you go. Look at that tip of that lower pivot. It's just gone. That's what I'm talking about right there. Just gone. Okay, so that staff has got to be swapped out. Like I said, thankfully I have them, and let's do it. Gosh, I should have noticed that during my inspection. Well, I'm silly. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so I didn't show you that because that's a really super delicate operation, and I don't want to, it's just, there's no fooling around with something else like that. But we can definitely see that that broken pivot was our problem, because there we go. So I am now even more at the end of my day, and I am gonna put this on the timegrapher and let it run in overnight, and then we will revisit tomorrow morning, and we'll see how things go. We'll check it in. Okay, see ya in the morning. I just put it on the timegrapher. It's still, I haven't gone upstairs yet. I just, look at my numbers. Yeah, baby. That's awesome. So we shifted a couple jewels, jeweled the mainspring arbor, lower one, replaced the upper bushing, new pivot on the balance, checked end shake, did some adjustments. Yeah. And this is just running in. I'm making this video seconds after the other one. Yeah, right on. That's why we adjust and shake. Look at stuff. Make sure that it's where it needs to be. Wow. Right on. Okay, that's real good. Alrighty. Well, here we go. Good morning. Let's see what happens. I have a good feeling, but we'll find out. Obviously, okay, fine. Let's run. Then we go here. 50.5. Let's see what we get. Wow. That's overnight, too. That's awesome. That's awesome. I tell you, man, you get rid of the end shake, because we had the center wheel jewel was a little down, as I said, and the fourth wheel bushing in the train bridge was a little up. We got rid of that. We dealt with the mainspring arbors, top and bottom. That's a fantastic result. That's a fantastic result. I mean, because Seiko's always run a little low, but I mean that's really good, especially for overnight. Okay, well let's keep going. Ah, that's awesome. Oh my God. 12 hours about? Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, well, I got the front end fully assembled, and you'll notice I was able to get rid of that little mark. I'm very happy about that. I thought it was there to stay, but it was just sitting on the surface, and I was able to shift it. Good stuff. Oh, chugging along. Movement is together, running beautifully. Nice and strong. I signed the inside of I personalized the inside of the case back. Normally I just date it and about the thing, but for you, for all that you've done for us and for Sadie and all that kind of stuff, with love and thanks, SPK/KVW and today's date. So I'm still working on it, but thank you, Jeanette, for all that you've done and for your patience, but all that you've done too for us and for the kids. I really appreciate it. I always do. Never forget that kind of thing.